But just there, guys, was a transition. There's going to be several transitions in this project. Sometimes I go back to Hotel Krat and I'm just cutting it out. Sometimes I just get clocked. Sometimes something happens. Sometimes I'm quitting out and doing something else. And instead of trying to link it together, I'm just going to be fading it because it's easier and it gives me an opportunity to explain some things that happen behind the scenes. Anybody watching this, this is a segmented walkthrough. This is not like one attempt and I never get hit and I'm the best player in the world. It doesn't exist. That kind of consistency doesn't exist. Not with what I'm doing in this run. But when you come down here, you're introduced to a dog, Spawn, which I adore. Dogs jumping out the window is so Resident Evil, it's not even funny, and to me, this is the kind of thing that I want games to be doing more of. I love the idea of having a dynamic spawn, and not dynamic in a sense that the spawn changes, but making it something that has some motion and some life. And it's a simple thing that Gears of War 3, I think, mastered. And then we come to these kind of games, and it's just a bunch of jobbers stood around. Sometimes they'll break a door, sometimes they'll drop down from a platform. But that right there gives me hope, because not only does it change the environment, but you also might not expect it, so it surprises you. And that's what we want moving forward in games. We want to be surprised. We want to see things we've not seen before. Another thing I want to talk about here, guys, is the puppet string. The puppet string is a phenomenal tool, and it's the tool I'm going to use the most in the game. It's the Legion arm I'm going to commit to, I'm going to upgrade it, and I'm going to show you why you should too. A lot of people are using things like the Aegis shield because it enables you to play the game in a very manipulative way, and it enables people who aren't very good to have a lot of success and a lot of safety. And if you're struggling, maybe you should Google that strategy and have a good time with it. But I warn you, that strategy is probably going to get nerfed when they touch the game again, because I don't think it was developer intended. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't really believe in pushing an exploit on people unless the exploit involves doing more damage. Because I'm a hypocrite, guys. If it involves damage, I'll do it. If it enjoys having better defense or being safer, I won't. But you'll see a lot of people using things like Terminus for the electricity. You'll see stuff, maybe a little bit of Flamberge with the flames on an advanced build. You'll also see a preponderance of the bomb shields, whose names I don't remember, where you put a mine in the ground or you fire the cannon. Those two are very, very good for players that are struggling to see openings and struggling to get in there and fight. But the puppet string, the utility that this machine has, is unmatched. It enables you to sequence break, it enables you to always have the advantage, it even enables you to loop some NPC bosses if you do it right and you get the right pattern. And my favourite thing, that people might not have noticed, is you can also use it to activate traps. And if you do that, you can get the advantage rather than being and falling prey to them. But be very careful in these claustrophobic tunnels here, these hallways. This part of the game is designed to make you hit walls. It's designed to trap you, and there's a trap coming up right ahead of us here. There is I think it's a butler puppet that's hiding in this little alcove, and when you go to the chest, he's going to do a big swing. And you can roll past these traps, but I've been hit by it before, and I didn't want to risk it. But here he is, this guy. As long as you know he's there, he's not too bad. The entire start of this game, I'm not going to be upgrading my weapon. I'm going to be upgrading my character, and my build is very simple, guys. I'm going to be upgrading technique and capacity, and that's it. I want to get capacity to about 35. I'm not going to do that too soon, because the rings I need aren't going to come that quickly. And I'm going to get technique up to about 50, depending on. It might even be 60 if I wear the ring. That's what I'm aiming for. The big issue in Lies of P, which is always a foundational underpinning of why the game is not as good as it needs to be and how good it could be if it were to change, is that damage scaling in this game is not really rewarded at all. The only people really reaping the benefits are people playing at New Game Plus on incredibly overleveled builds. If you play this game in a normal fashion where you just play and you try to overcome the situations, and you don't go out of your way to grind or do things like that, you will end the game about level 80 to 85. If you're higher than that, you've done something weird. There's just no two words about it. I've beat this game now about 10 times, and I have never been higher than level 80, pretty much. I just can't do it. I don't know how anyone's doing it. They must be farming enemies and having difficulties and like trying to get their shit up. When I see people over a level 100, I just wonder what you were doing and how you were playing. And here's the thing. This game is an RPG. If you want to level, you can do that. That's what it's all about. But I do think that there is a huge trepidation in that mentality, because all you're going to do is learn how to play the game a very select way, and then when I put you on a different build, you're not going to be able to do anything. And this is why I want to try to at least entice people to push themselves. Try to do something outside your comfort zone. Try to approach the game in a way you don't usually. That might not be fun to you, and you might just want to get to max level and stomp everybody, and that's fair, and you should totally do that. But you know when you go on Reddit and start telling people what the balance is, in that moment you need to shut your fucking mouth, because you're not part of the conversation. Playing this game on that kind of build is not playing this game at all. It's turning the game off. You have no resistance, you have no real threat. The only thing that can kill you is you. And it's laziness, it's idleness, it's complacency. How did you die with 10 vials? How did you die with all those defense items on? How did you die with that massive HP bar? You died because you weren't good enough, and you never needed to be, because instead of learning the game, you manipulated a system to get to the point where the game was obsolete. And at that point, why even play the game? That's how I see it. But I also appreciate that not everybody's going to see it that way. These games are really fun to feel powerful in. These games are really fun to level up in because you feel like you're progressing. But in this particular one, the progression is wrong. The progression's in a bad place. This is a shortcut here, make sure you activate this. Because the progression rewards people that upgrade HP more than almost any other stat. The progression rewards people that upgrade capacity more than any other stat. And this is the reason why you might sense some hostility here, because I think it's really bad design. I think if you choose to be squishy and die quickly, you should be rewarded with what you get. And what you get in this game is nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to when you upgrade a weapon, which we're going to talk about a lot. But this is the Mad Donkey, and I've got a little setup here for you guys. When he gets up, if you attack him, just as he rolls away, if you hook him, you can sometimes backstab him again, and you can sometimes hit him a few times. And if you do it right, which I put a short up on YouTube, it wasn't this particular run. If you do this correctly, you can keep doing it, and he can't really get out of it. But if he does a different response, then it's broken and it doesn't work. But we'll see if we can do it here. I tend to attack 1, 2, and then I fire. And then that wasn't working. I did it too slow. But definitely something to experiment with, because it's really fun. But one of the things to bear in mind here, this guy is really awkward to backstab because it feels like his backstab detection turns off for no reason. That was it then. Did you see it? Here we go. I got him. And then I backstabbed him and he died. That is exactly what you want to try and do if you can. It trivializes him, and it feels really fun when you land it. But it is tricky.